Hey guys. So welcome back to Fun with Mons. So today we're going to be talking about this right here, right? This whole thing that we have going on, sister locks, right? But we're going to talk about my sister locks journey. It has been a journey. It's really just been like 2 years so far, but August 2024 will make 3 years. But I'm going to do a few videos because there's a lot that I'm still learning that I kind of didn't know before. I'm looking at figuring out the pros and cons as I go along. But yeah, so let's go through this journey a little bit. But I want you guys to let me know in the comments below, how long have you been locked? What are some of the pros and cons that maybe you have faced so far with having locks? Um, for me, the pros have totally outweighed the cons though so far. But yeah, so let's start with how it even started. So I got locked in August 2021, right? I had this thing for years. Like growing up, I always said after I had my first child, I would lock my hair, right? Because of just the maintenance part. Because if you guys know, I'll link it, I'll show it here. My hair was natural before. I'm maintaining natural hair because I wanted my hair to be like nice and healthy, and all of that took a lot of energy, right? My daughter now also has a decent amount of hair for me to deal with. So I didn't want to have to deal with the two of us, all the time. It would have been a lot, right? Styling, combing, because I was not one to like go to the hairdresser to do my hair. I would do that all by myself, right? So I know time would have been a problem. So that was one reason why I decided to lock. And then the second reason why it kind of all came together was that my natural hair, funny enough, when I had my daughter, my natural hair was like flourishing. It was the best it had been in a long time. But then a little bit after that, it just kind of felt stuck. Like it wasn't moving. It was just like there. It wasn't growing. I think I had damaged hair from heat because I used to press it, like silk press in the past, sometimes just to make it lighter, right? Because if you just to kind of lighten it, because it was a lot to deal with at the time. So yeah, so all of that damage, and I was like, you know what? Let's just call it a day, and let's just do this lock thing. All right. So in locking, the first thing that I had to consider was finding someone to do it, right? Especially like in Jamaica. So I used the Sister Locks website. I checked around, I asked questions, made some calls. Most of them require that you do like a consultation, or I think they all do, right? I'm not sure, but I think they all do, yeah, because they need to know like your hair length, things like that. So in doing the consultation, she locked like two of my hair. I think it's these two, they're still the longest ones. So she locked two of them, two different styles, I think she did. And she left them for like about a week or two just to see how my hair, I guess, did with the locks. Like, did it pull out? Did it stay strong? Like, what happened? I guess they both were fine because, I was able to do it. So that was a big part. Most, of course, will charge like, they charge for the consultation, but then when you lock, they will charge sometimes like based on your hair length, or they do like a certain amount and then the remainder. So let's say they give you a flat rate for if your hair is 6 inches long, but for every additional inch, the price is higher, right? Um, Here's a trick, guys. This might be bad. But what I did most times, or sometimes if I go for a consultation, before with my natural hair, when I go to the hairdresser, which was rare, I would catch up my hair and wrap it up and all of that. So they wouldn't see what they're working with until they give me a price. And then it's like, oh, we didn't know it was like this. And they want to change the price, but they can't because they kind of already told me a certain price. But in locking my hair, after doing that consultation, I was very, as I said, my hair was damaged. I had never colored my hair before, and I really wanted to have like locks with colors at the end. So the person who did my locks recommended that if I'm going to lock it, color it before. So I invited my friend to my house because I couldn't do it, and she came by and we turned my hair. It was supposed to be pink, but it wasn't as pink as we wanted because I had so many fears. I didn't want the bleach to damage my hair, all of that stuff. But it worked out fine. Like that was okay, right? So following that, now I decided to go and do the lock. When I did it, it took roughly 2 days. When I say 2 days, I don't mean it took 48 hours. It maybe took like 24 hours because we did from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 2 days. Right? I did it for my birthday, and that process, other than being long, it was fine. Like it was really fine. At the end of it, I was like, this feels like there's nothing on my head. Like my head felt so light as a feather, right? This is a picture of how it looked when I had just finished locking it. To be honest, I didn't like the look of it, right? Because my hair looked so thin, it looked so scanty. And in locking my hair, I had told her that I don't want them really thin. I don't want the really thin sister locks. So in doing it, when she did it, I was like, this looks thinner than I wanted. But she told me not to worry, it will grow into it, which it did, so I'm not complaining, right? But at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't like this. How am I going to go on the road with my hair like this? I look like a headless chicken, right? But in all honesty, being a remote worker, so I work from home, she said like the best way for it to lock quickly was to keep it braided. So I like when I got home, I just braided it. So half of the time my hair was just in plaits all over the place. So braided for until the other retightening and things like that. So I think for it to lock though, for or mature, it took maybe a year and a half. It took a while to really like be locked. And in that process, I wasn't, able to. If you guys know me, my other channel was like a blog. I would go to the beach and the river all the time. I had to put that on pause because I didn't want them to pull out, right? Because if it pulls out, it's going to cost you to retighten it again. And I was not about to have that. So I wasn't going to the beach, no rivers, nothing. I just kind of kept it in those braids, and that's it. Even when you wash it, when it's just locked, you braid it and you like put an elastic band at the end to protect the ends from pulling out. So for the most part, that was my hair for like a year, just braids and washing it with the elastic bands. All right, now in terms of like washing my hair, in the start back home, I was having like problems sourcing the shampoo for the sister locks, and when I did source it, it was kind of expensive. So the person who did it told me like I could just use a sulfate free shampoo, and for 2 years now, that's what I've been doing. I just use the regular Cantu, the sulfate free one. I don't really add anything to my hair. The only things I put in there are I just spray it every day with like I add rose water. There's this rose water and glycerin from Amazon that I get. I'll link it below. So I use a little of that, some water, some oils. So like I'll use a little bit of what's that? Why can't I remember the name? It's so simple, right? The regular oils. Like I use a little bit of coconut oil and a little bit of, guys, I don't know if I pronounce this right. Hobo. I don't know that that oil. There's a little bit of that and a little castor oil. That's it. And I spray my hair daily with it. Now I don't let the oils overweigh the water, right? It's really mostly water and just little droplets of the oil. Because if you use too much of the oil, it's going to have the roots looking white and flaky and your hair will look like dirty all the time, right? So that's what I use. You know, there are many different mixtures and things that people have and people sell. But for me, that's what I've been using since I started. And it's been doing well for me so far. So I'll continue to do that until things change, right? If they change. Um, this is the part that no one prepared me for whatsoever. But then I don't know if this applies to everyone or if it's just me or I'm sensitive or if I just had like someone who they call would be heavy handed. But my first retightening, guys, no joke, I felt like I wanted to go to the hospital. It was so bad in terms of the headache. I had a headache to the point where I was nauseous. I wanted to throw up for maybe like 2 or 3 days until I fully recovered. I couldn't sleep on my head properly. I had to like take the pillow and catch it up. Like it was horrible, right? That was my first retightening. I'll never forget. So following that, every time I went to do a retightening, I would take 2 Advils, 2 painkillers, right? Because of the levels of pain that I would feel. Now, in all honesty, I didn't get that pain all the time, but I would say 9 out of 10 times there was that pain, right? But I think it's just like how it was done. It was pulled, and I don't know, it kind of, but talking to the consultant, like she said that most of her clients don't have this problem. So honestly, it might just be me and my head is just super sensitive, which I think is the case because I have tried another consultant. To be honest, it's not as painful. Like the process doesn't hurt whatsoever, but I did still get a headache afterwards, but it was never as bad as like the other one, right? So yeah, let me know if you struggle with that, like if you get really bad headaches after retightening. So for me, that was like a major problem. But what I was happy about was the time frame for the retightenings. So because I would have those headaches, I never scheduled my retightenings for 4 to 6 weeks, like most people say. I usually do around 8 weeks, right? 6 to 8 weeks, anywhere in between that, because I just know that I would have a headache. So I didn't want to face that so often. So I would spread it. Um, and then something that I have noticed about my hair is that my hair is very trashy. So I could retighten it today, and in 2 days' time, it would look kind of trashy. Usually, I would use a silk bonnet over my hair, but because of the headaches, I don't. Or I use it sometimes, or I use it for part of the night, and when I feel the headache coming, I take it off. But I get too many headaches associated with it. So the best bet is to get a sheet which has a silk pillowcase. So that kind of helps, right? So yeah, that's my retightening experience. It's not the same for everyone. So I'm not saying don't get your hair locked because of that, right? There are ways around it. As I said, it's either you like take some Advils before you go, or you ask them to not like do it too tight, even though I did ask that too, but it still felt tight afterwards, right? But yeah, so if you guys want the hookup for Jamaica, like who did my locks in Jamaica, let me know. I can give you her information. As I said, she did a really good job. Like I've been getting such good, compliments about my locks when she retightens. Yes, there's the pain for me, not for everyone, right? But for me, I have that problem. But when she does it, my hair is really nice. It's really neat. It's lovely. I'm happy that I did decide to go with her, right? So I'll give you guys her information. If you need that, just send me a message on Instagram. Now I am in Savannah, Georgia, and I was searching because not being from here, having locks, guys, a lot of people here have locks, a lot, right? But remember that there are so many different types of locks. So thankfully you have the Sister Locks website. So I decided to use that, and that's how I got this done. All right, and then now being here, I went to another person, Locks, and that was a really good experience. I won't lie, like I didn't get the pain of retightening. I did get it the day after, but it wasn't like a really bad headache. It was manageable. But what happened was when I locked it, I also styled it at the same time. So I don't know if the headache came from more the styling of it than the locking, right? Because usually I don't really style my hair. I just lock it and it's like this half the time or it's in one or something, but I hardly like style it for now, right? But going there, like she has this thing that she calls the works, which is really good. So what happens is she will wash your hair and then she steams it so it keeps it really nice and moisturized and feeling healthy, right? So and then following that, she will, retighten and then style it. So that's what I went for. And it was, again, as I said, a really good experience. This is the style I had gotten. My hair is really thick, so this is what I wanted, but this is what I got because my hair is a little bit thicker than. But I'm excited about my next retightening because I'm going to try like a boho thing with my hair. I don't know how it's going to look, but let's see how that goes. But I really don't style much, also because I don't go out often. So I really don't have. So most times it's just like when my hair is wet, I will plait it and then I just pull them out and you get some curls. So that's literally the style. So that's usually it. Braided out style, or it's just out like this for now until I get better at different styles. All right, so hopefully this video was helpful. So that's been my journey so far with Sister Locks. Let me know again, if you want to get Sister Locks, how long you've been locked, all of those things, just comment below. Subscribe, share, follow, everything. All right, bye.